compared to Nigerian support that few faces in green and white were drowned in a sea of red and green. Add to that also the most biased refereeing witnessed so far in the championship. The Ghanaian center referee was actually the 13th player for the home side. Many of his decisions were dubious, to say the least. At a point, and for some seconds during the match, no one, including the players, knew why he blew the whistle. Everyone stood and waited for an interpretation that finally did not make sense. He awarded the throw-in to the Moroccans when the ball did not even go out of play. It is those little innocuous decisions that make a big difference in a match of this magnitude. He brazenly frustrated the Nigerian team with his officiating. In spite of all these distractions, however, the Eagles could not have lost in regulation time. They held out that well. The match could only be decided with the penalty shootout, which is almost like a toss of the coin. Nerves come into play, and any player can become a victim. For Nigerians, it was a painful way to end what had been a terrific run of great performances. The country now saw glimpses of a new generation of Super Eagles, led by my best Nigerian player of the championship, Calvin Bassey, in the heart of the Nigerian defense. He should become the next captain of the Super Eagles, not Osimhen, who will always be weighed down by that additional responsibility from the difficult position he plays on the field. There are some useful takeaways from AFCON 2025, irrespective of what happened during the third place match against Egypt. The first is about Eric Chell. The Malayan manager of the Super Eagles has earned an extension of his contract. We have seen more of his capability. He has also matured through the longer period of working with the team. He now knows the players better and can separate the wheat from the chaff. The second is the need for better scouting of the best in the sea of Nigerian players. The domestic league has nothing to offer the way things are now. The third is serious investment by stadium owners in Nigeria, the states and federal government, to fix strategic training and playing fields in Nigeria. Julius Berger PLC are not experts in tough technology. They have managed the best pitches in the country since 1995. Yet, even that great construction company is not good enough for the quality of turf needed in the country. Existing Nigerian companies may be doing their best. Unfortunately, we cannot point to any facility anywhere in the country done by them that meets the standards we need for our football, local and international, to move to world-class levels. Fourthly, Nigeria needs to address the level of its local coaches. All those CAF and FIFA coaching programs don't address Nigeria's peculiar domestic players' technical development. Wrong coaching has killed the rich Nigerian style of football. Football administration in Nigeria, this is where it all starts and ends. Unless the buttons of proper reforms and a domesticated constitution involving all genuine stakeholders are reset, football development to the highest levels will never be achieved. Finally, establishing a proper and authentic structure and institution for grassroots football development, managing the uncontrolled exodus of young players, stopping the falsification of documents, and monitoring and documenting diaspora and emigrating Nigerian players. The time to start is now, with the limited engagements of the Super Eagles in the next year. Finally, the match Nigeria played against Morocco was a very difficult one to win, almost a mission impossible. But having said that, the Super Eagles are genuinely on the way back to greatness.
Fly, then you shall fly with us on
Eagle 7 Sports Radio, 103.7 FM, where sports and music collide in an unprecedented entertainment fusion. Welcome back. My guests are both my bosses when it comes to the business of journalism. And I have the greatest pleasure to always, speak with Dr. Mumuni Alao, a co-director with me in Complete Communications Limited, a man who is like the brain box behind Complete Sports, that whole empire, which we built through so many decades together. So Dr. Mumuni, wrapped up in his cold clothing from the city of Rabat in Casablanca. Good morning.
Good morning, Big Shade.
This wrapping up. The cold is killing, eh?
It's quite cold here, although not as cold as Fairs, where the Super Eagles played their first round and quarterfinal matches. But it's still a bit cold here in Rabat.
Wow. Well, and I can see Mitchell. I don't know why Mitchell's picture is sideways. It should be upright. What is going on? Anyway, but Dr. Mitchell Obi is also there. He's been my boss forever. It's like when I think about it, it's like we've been together for over 80 years. Together with Mikel, since I was playing, actually. Mitchell was editing my first write-ups in The Guardian in those days. Fine young man. The man is still fine these days. And now he has become a radio and television guru also, in addition to all the other things that he did. So let me welcome Dr. Mitchell Obi, the man I call Platini. But somehow, your picture is still somehow sideways. It should be upright. But good morning.
Sideways?
Yes.
Bonjour, mon frère. Ça va?
Ça va bien, merci. Et vous?
Enchanté. I've done the normal, the vertical. Maybe
now this is good.
Oh, but this is not the professional style when you put it horizontal. It has to go vertical for editing.
Okay, but what we are seeing now is correct, and I like.
Okay, I know, but traditionally they tell you to go vertical so that you can edit easily.
You look like one of them. Oh.
I was honored by the Moroccan government. You know that I had my headquarters in Casablanca for almost 10 years as president of AIPS Africa. So Morocco, interestingly, has been home to me in a way because my first exposure with the Green Eagles, as it was Morocco, Casablanca, 1983.
Wow!
When we played the Los Angeles Olympic qualifier, Onigbinde, Chief Festus Onigbinde, leading that team to a goalless outing, and then the penalty shootout where Patrick Okala of blessed memory had his first baptism before it was the anger of losing that game that we went to the Nations Cup in 1984 and reached the final. Many people can't remember, but that was the game that exposed almost 6 internationals, including Rashidi Yekini, Clement Temile, Paul Okoku, Yisha Sofolu, all blessed memory, interestingly. Then, of course, the captain, Stephen Okechukwu Keshi. So that game was played in Casablanca, but before then, a game had been played in Rabat for the African Nations Cup qualifier, same year, and we won. And it was Peter Rufai, Dodo Mayana, who saved the kicks, the penalty kicks. And you know what happened? When we were coming back for the LA, the whole of Morocco was thinking about Dodo Mayana. And Dodo had an ankle injury. We treated that injury, that ankle, till we arrived at the stadium. And there was no way Rufai could get to the post. Onigwide looked inside the box and said, Patrick, get ready. And Patrick Okala was in all tears.
Wow. Total
tears. I mean, tears. How can you take me to keep in a game of this nature, the qualifier that will give us a ticket to United States? And all those players wanted to go to America, even though some later went to America, like Keshi. And so Okala had to wipe his tears, got into the field. First shot from Mary Crimo, and that was the dreaded Moroccan side. Mary Crimo, the Crimo brothers, the Desert Pele, Timumi, name them. It was a complete team. And Badou Zaki, the goalkeeper, who saved Hen Wosu's Zagallo penalty kick, bending his nyash on one corner to take a penalty. The goalkeeper saw the angle, like Samuel Chukwueze, and just got the ball. And I remember in the box, Henry Wosu almost got slapped by Stephen Keshi. Couldn't take it. But it was that anger we carried to Bouake. And when we met Ghana in the opening game, Chibuzo Hilebu finished them with 2 goals before they realized what has happened. And we thought we had become champions by beating the defending champions. Remember, Ghana had gone to Tripoli to win the Nations Cup, beating Libya, who sent an aircraft to bring them to the competition, and Tripoli or Libya had to carry them with an aircraft back to Ghana with the trophy of J.J. Rollins. And so when we beat them, we thought we had won the Nations Cup, and then Malawi brought us down to earth. That was where Clement Temile got, the Golden Ball Award. His 2 goals were down against the Bullets of Malawi, and then Temile had to equalize with 2 goals and became one of the top scorers of the tournament in 1984. So it was the first time Nigerian coach will lead the team to win, to reach the final. And you know the interesting part of it, Peter Rufai kept in the semi-final against Egypt, like we'll play Egypt today. And it went to penalty shootout, in which almost all the players took a kick, and we won. The pitch became a prayer field. All Egyptians were praying non-stop. And we reached that final against Cameroon. And Onigwide used Patrick Okala. Can you beat it?
Wow.
Having a goalkeeper in the semi-final, Peter Rufai. In the final, he said his spirit was a build-up. And that was the game in which Onigwide started an experiment which became a fad in football, using 2 left-footed attackers. You had Humphrey Edobo and James Etokegbe. He said that was where he was going to destroy the Cameroonians. Unfortunately, it was the Cameroonians who destroyed us. So my pleasure, Shegu, for that little historical incursion. So Morocco is where I really started my repertorial occupation and in the Guardian in 1983 with Sonny Ojegbase of blessed memory.
Yes, and that was when you started actually editing my small column that I used to write, from Ibadan in those days. Wow, thank you for.
People didn't understand that name, mathematical. That was what we had. We were thinking of a name for that column.
Well, thank you for that historical excursion. And Dr. Alao.
Yes.
You just heard our Oga there. That's our Oga. Tell us the story of Nigerian football as far as Morocco is concerned, you see, this Morocco thing, you told me yesterday that maybe Morocco is missing me or I am missing some things in Morocco. But the reality is that I was thinking of Morocco as this country preparing for the 2030 World Cup to represent Africa. You know, but from what you have seen at this AFCON 2025, is there a reflection of Africa in Morocco? You know, am I missing something there that is special, extra special? You know, this AFCON 2025 reflecting Africa really. And just tell us about it, your own thoughts about AFCON 2025 and Morocco's hosting of it.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the Moroccan government, they've been very, very strategic in terms of their investments in sports infrastructure in this country. It's amazing the kind of the quality of the infrastructure. All the stadiums. I've been in Fez, I've been in Marrakesh. Now I'm in Rabat. We're playing the top place match against Egypt in Casablanca this evening. All the stadiums are fantastic. They're wonderful. And not just the stadiums, the roads leading to the stadiums, the hotel. Big Sheikh, I can assure you that if the World Cup in 2030 were to kick off tomorrow, Morocco is ready.
Wow.
Morocco is ready. And I'm sure we have the evidence of that already, because in the last couple of years, CAF have been bringing virtually every competition to Morocco. Each time a host country is unable to meet the deadline, Morocco is on standby. Look at the WAFCON. Just last year, the Falcons were here and they won the tournament. And in March, they are coming back again to defend their title. And Morocco, they are not stopping there. I was, when we were in Fez, a taxi driver was telling me that, look, what we are seeing here is just the beginning in terms of the investment, that some of the stadia will be expanded.
Wow.
Some of them will be converted to full covering, you know. So I think it's been a very strategic investment by the Moroccan government. Ironically, some of their people are not quite happy with the investment. You know, I spoke to some people also in Fez, and they were saying, look, this is the kind of money government should be spending on the people's welfare. Why are they spending so much money in sports infrastructure? So that is the irony of life. While most of us who are visitors here commending the government and we're appreciating the kind of infrastructure that we have seen in terms of stadia, some of their people are saying, look, this money should be spent on our welfare. But that is neither here nor there. To answer your question, Morocco is ready to host the world alongside Spain and Portugal in 4 years' time from now. And I'm very, very confident that they're going to do a very good job. Let me digress a little bit. Before this game that we're playing this evening, yesterday at the pre-match conference for the match Nigeria-Egypt, the Egyptian coach, Osam Hassan, he was throwing some jabs at the Moroccans, all right? Because, there's this great rivalry amongst all the North African teams. The most pronounced is the one between Algeria and Morocco, because they also have geopolitical issues to sort out. And every Moroccan was supporting Nigeria when we played against them. So the Egyptian coach, he felt that they didn't get enough support from the Moroccans, where they played in Tangier against Senegal in the semifinals. And so he said Egypt are the lions of the Arab nations. Egypt are the lions of Africa. He was trying to put down the claim by the Moroccans to be the Atlas Lions. And he was saying that Egypt already have seven stars on their chests. And believe that some countries, some people are jealous of them. And all the jabs were against at Morocco. And the Moroccan FA president had to intervene. He had to write what I call a love letter to the, I mean the Egyptian FA president, I meant to say, just to douse the controversy that Osam Hassan was bringing up. He wrote a love letter to the Moroccan FA to say, look, you guys have done a great job. The infrastructure that we are provided here is the best in the Arab nations, is the best in Africa, and so on and so forth. So that, and I think Nigeria is going to ride on that. They are going to ride on the support of the Moroccans again against Egypt today, when we play the match for third place. But to answer your question, Morocco is ready to host the world.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, Platini, on the eve of this AFCON, I had made up my mind. I wasn't going to go at all to Morocco. Disillusioned by the performances of the Super Eagles, in not qualifying for the World Cup. And, following the lack of interest of a few sponsors I spoke to about AFCON. So generally, Nigerians didn't have faith, in their national team. And corporate Nigeria didn't have interest, actually. At least a lot of them didn't have interest. But as we come to the end of AFCON 2025 now, I see that things have changed. What happened within the space of the 3 weeks we have gone through AFCON with the Super Eagles that took us from a team nobody had faith in to one now that, we are saddened, of course, that they didn't get to the finals. But, so many people are actually praising them for a great job. What happened?
Magical 3 weeks, and expectations went haywire. At one point in time, I told them that I was not going to join the moonlight dance, especially after we demolished Algeria in such a simple fashion. And just before I come to address your question, I should say here that Morocco didn't prepare for hosting the World Cup by chance. They had put in a bid almost on 4 occasions. They came close. Even between South Africa and Morocco for 2010, it was really Mandela who made the difference. And the Moroccans have lost even narrowly to the Germans for 2026. And when they started the bid far back in 1986, and they came to Nigeria, I happened to be part of that team as sports editor of The Guardian when they came and they called on me, and we went to Abuja, to put a presentation. What happened is that the present king of Morocco is a total football man, Big Sheikh. And when we went there in 1983, he was the one who did the ceremonial handshake inside Casablanca. He was a young man. And when he took over, football became for him the tool to fast-track development in Morocco. And so he stayed faithful to their bid document. That's why we say you don't just bid for the sake of bidding. You bid and you go out there to put a document that will guide you, that will help you. And the Moroccans have stayed faithful to their bid document. And what you have is a manifestation of that commitment to a strategic plan on the ground. Just like Qatar, they have weaved their national development as well as their vision for the country around sports. And that is what the United Nations encourage. When we talk about sports being the catalyst and enabler of the sustainable development goals, this is the Moroccan example or the Qatari example come to mind. And yes, the citizens may not find joy in the kind of money that has gone down, but it's money worthwhile. It's an investment that will continue to yield because Morocco depends highly in terms of generating revenue on tourism. And sports is one fast area to really build your touristic dimension. So coming to what happened, we discussed, and I said, first, the coal in Morocco at this time. I had been there in 2018 when Nigeria reached the final of CHAN, and we played the Moroccans in biting coal. For 30 minutes, I couldn't sit in one spot. My bones, everything. And I was younger then, Big Shen. And I said, in December again, I cannot be in that Morocco. I know Morocco so well. I cannot go through the chill of coal and then the uncertainty of an Eagles team that did not give us the World Cup. More than anything else, I said the AFCON was no big deal to us. There was nothing left in the short. When you look at the returns from the AFCON in terms of medal, Nigeria is number 1.
Wow.
We have won more bronze, more silver. If you add the gold, almost a total of 17 medals. In how many? In participation of 21 participation or so. So you find out that I told many people this AFCON is no big deal. But then I was suddenly impressed when CAF decided to jack up the prize money for winning the AFCON to 10 million. Which was close to what FIFA had, $5 million. So 10 million was like, let's see. And suddenly these boys surprised us. Indeed, I had written somewhere that I see Morocco all over the trophy.
Wow.
And that increased in favor when they reached the semifinals, and they had not even gotten into gear. And so there was no way we were going to. You know what happened in Cote d'Ivoire in the final? Were you going to leave that stadium
alive
with the trophy, with that crowd? When we trekked for almost 2 miles or so to find our place in the stadium? It's almost impossible. And Eric Schell has confessed that you have a player who is the number 1 penalty taker in his team. Indeed, if you give him 400 kicks of penalty, he will score all. But when it came to
that moment,
that trek from the bench to the penalty spot can take away everything, and that's what happened to Chukwueze.
Yeah.
For Eric Schell, if any person was going to score a penalty, it was Chukwueze, because that's what he does customarily. But the game situation is different from the practice situation. So that crowd is something else, and people have not understood the energy that comes from a crowd. Even when Congo beat us, the Congolese far outnumbered us in that stadium in the course of that shootout. And that's why Eric Schell lost his cool. You remember him said voodoo with all those kind of antics and shenanigans of the fans. It always come to play. The fans have a role to play in the game in terms of the kind of energy they translate. But come to think of it, I am totally impressed, and I said it, that I have never been a fan of having a foreign coach for the Super Eagles, because it doesn't allow me to assess fully where our football has gotten to. If we had gotten to this stage with another Nigerian coach, something we had done before in the past, I would have said, oh yes, at least while the players are making their mark, the coaching also is improving. But here is a team totally foreign-based, not one home-based player. And then, of course, think of it, we couldn't get past the semifinals on penalties. So, for me, what is the gain? Eric Schell, with all the fine experience he has had, will go somewhere else and translate those. The players who are foreign-based will give that to their clubs. At home here, we cannot even pick 2 or 3 stars to use to jack up the sense of being for our players in terms of aspiration. How can they aspire if they cannot make the national team for AFCON? So I'm not excited. Yes, we played good football against Tunisia, against Algeria, but when it came to where it mattered, we lacked the same zest. We lack the same urgency in play. Our tactics showed that they were handicapped, and the Moroccans came out. Came out.
Okay, I read Mumuni yesterday. Mumuni, by the way, has been writing this incredible daily diary from Morocco. And if you have not been reading, then you have missed something. Go and somehow get that diary. Makes a great compendium. So let Mumun just help take us through that Nigeria-Morocco match, and what look, the referee was against us. The support was incredible. And if you listen to my editorial this morning, I said it was a mission impossible. That we could have played that match for 1 whole week and no goal would have been scored. Because although they were playing better, but it was not as if we were under any serious threat. But what are your own views about that match in particular? Because Nigerians and people all over the world are listening to have a full understanding of what happened during that match.
Thank you very much, Big Sheikh. I listened attentively to your editorial, And I also listened to the references that you made to what John Masorodo said. They are not different from my conclusion in my last diary.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the comments you made on my diaries. Before these tournaments, I didn't expect that much from the Super Eagles, especially after we didn't qualify for the World Cup. In fact, I came to the AFCON just on holidays. Like Michelle said, he ran away from the cold. But
you ran into
let
the
me say
cold.
that it was
You ran
actually
to the
Michelle
cold.
that inspired me to come to this AFCON. You know, because it's a long time I came to an AFCON because I always had to send reporters to go and cover the events. But when I saw Big Sheikh, what Big Sheikh did 2 years ago in Cote d'Ivoire, you know, traveling by road from Nigeria, the excursion, writing the stories, you know, I felt, hey, if Big Sheikh at 70 plus.
Hey, stop that, man. Stop there.
I said, if Big Sheikh at 70 plus can still be doing this, what am I doing at home? Because I didn't go to Cote d'Ivoire. What am I doing? I'm 60 plus. So I said, look, the next AFCON, I'm also going to be on the road. And that's why I came, you know. So I wasn't expecting that much from the Eagles. I just came on excursion. But then when we got here, that game against Tunisia changed my mind about the Super Eagles. Okay? That game, because it was a matter of tactics, it was a matter of performance, the possession, the domination, it was total. In fact, the 2 goals that Tunisia later scored towards the end of the game when we made some substitutions, for me, they were neither here nor there. It didn't take anything away from the Eagles' performance as far as I was concerned. And that was the point that I said, look, whatever happens in this tournament, what I've seen here, we should retain the coach. That was the point I made up, and I wrote it in my diary. It's there. Second game in the tournament, I already knew that this team was a real deal. And I think they've proved it subsequently in other matches. Coming to the Morocco game, I think you got it right, that it was a mission impossible. We need to be on the ground here to realize what you have just said about this being a mission impossible. I wrote before the match that the Eagles should be ready for some unfair refereeing, you know, because I knew the referee was going to be under a lot of pressure. And I want to give him credit because he didn't go beyond board. He didn't give the Moroccans a dubious penalty. He didn't disallow any goal by the Super Eagles. Okay, so for me, I don't put much blame on the referee in terms of the outcome of the match. Rather, I think what decided that match is the crowd, the 12th player. Okay, they were not just in the stands; they were on the pitch, and there was no way you are not going to feel their presence. And let's face it, let's admit it. Okay, home advantage is part of football, either at club level, at international level. Home advantage is a factor of football. It's Nigeria that we need to learn how to use it because we have not been using it. Let me digress a little bit. When the Eagles play at home, we play in Uyo, we play at 4 o'clock. We play at 4 o'clock. When most of the players are coming from Europe where they are used to, you know, clement weather, then we put them under the sun. And after 60 minutes, they are tired. The pitch is bumpy. Okay? And we say we are playing at home. So we throw away our home advantage. We should be playing on good pitches, which you mentioned in your editorial, Big Sheikh. And we should be playing at night when the weather is very good for our players to express themselves. Those are 2 factors that have shaped the Eagles that we saw in this tournament. Playing at night on excellent pitches when they give instructions to the ball and the ball will obey. And that is why we are seeing the best of the Super Eagles. If you take this same team again back to Uyo, you won't see the kind of performance you are seeing here in Morocco. So we have a lot of work to do in terms of taking advantage of being at home. And that is what Morocco did. They took full advantage after investing so much. If they didn't have a good team, they wouldn't get to the semi-final. We're just saying the referee. If they didn't have a good team, they wouldn't make it this far. So apart from the investment in infrastructure, they have a good team. And we saw that in Qatar 4 years ago. They got to the semi-finals of the World Cup, the first African team to do so. So we can't put Morocco down in terms of their preparation, both for the tournament itself and their team. So I would say that they deserve, you know, to get into the final. And all credit to the Super Eagles for standing up against them, as you said in your editorial, for 120 minutes, because the pressure was on them. And Michelle also alluded to the fact that, look, Chukwueze might have been the best penalty taker in training. When he got onto that pitch with the whistles, blowing in his ears, he would definitely misstep, and that was what happened. So everything put together, I think the Super Eagles have proved again to us in this tournament that Nigeria surely is one of the best football teams in Africa. And all we need to do is to do proper homework, and we can also be one of the best in the world. Morocco got to the semi-finals.
Big Sheikh.
Yeah.
Big Sheikh.
Go ahead.
Can I add something to that?
No, just let Mumuni just cap up, and then you come in.
Yes,
Mumuni just cap up.
So I think number one, we should retain Eric Schell because he has demonstrated his capability. When he came initially, he already said he was going to play attacking football, and that's what we have seen from the Eagles. Okay, I think we should retain him for continuity. It's affordable. And he doesn't complain even when his salary is delayed, and that is part of Nigerian football. That's something we need to work on. But he's ready to live with that. So I think, just like Westerhoff in Senegal 92, I remember the same scenario. We lost to Ghana in the semi-finals, and the debate after that loss in the semi-finals was whether Westerhoff should stay or go. Thank God that Ihomo was there, and he gave instruction to Akinyele, who was sports minister back then, that look, that man, because Westerhoff actually tendered his resignation in Senegal, in Dakar, because he promised before the tournament that if he didn't get to the final or win the tournament, he was going to resign. And he did submit his resignation. And Akinyele was happy because, as many said, he didn't like Westerhoff in the first place. He was ready to let him go. But Ihomo sent instructions from Lagos that no, he must be retained. And we also saw what happened thereafter. So when you have a team with a coach, and yesterday at the press conference, I should add, Wilfred Ndidi, and that's the first time in a long time that I will see a national team player, a captain, come out with his full chest to declare support for his national coach. Usually, which
is wrong.
I'm coming, Michelle. I'm coming, Michelle.
Okay, just wait. Yeah, Platini, just wait.
All right. That is why, usually when you ask players, they will say, it's the decision of the FA. Okay? That's for the FA. We are just players. So maybe that's why you say that is wrong. But for God's sake, this boy was courageous enough to come out there to say, look, beyond being a player, I'm also a Nigerian. And this is where I stand. So I think that was quite courageous of him. Okay? Maybe that's because his value tallies with mine. Maybe that's why I'm praising him. But I think that's something that's commendable. Let the players not hide. Let them come out and say what they feel. It's still for the FA to take the final decision anyway. So I think Eric Schell should be retained. Let him continue for minimum the next 2 years, at least to the next AFCON, to build on what we have seen in this tournament. Coming back to the issue of home-based players, we all know where the problems lie. It's not the fault of Eric Schell. In the last, how many coaches, even when we had Samson Siasia, Stephen Keshi, all of them, apart from 2013, since 2013 when Keshi took about 3 or 4 home-based players to the AFCON, since then up till now, every coach that has come, including Finidi George, Sunday Olise, they've all come. I mean, even Shaibu Ahmad when he was alive, all the players came from Europe when we go to tournaments. So we need to do a lot of. It's not the fault of the coaches when they don't pick players from the domestic league. It means the domestic league has a lot of work to do, and that is the job for the FA, the job for the management of the league. It's not the fault of the coaches. The coaches will always go for the best players wherever they are, whether they are in Nigeria or abroad, and let us get used to that, because we are having so many people jackpotting from the country, so many people having their children abroad, and these are Nigerians, and they will continue to compete for the national team shirts. So it's for us to work on our domestic league. So summarily, let's retain Eric Schell. Let's work on Nigerian football pitches so that when we play at home, we are able to play the way we are playing right now in Nigeria, in Morocco. Let's play our matches at night so that when our players come from Europe.
Just go on.
Let me take it straight from there, Big Sheikh.
Yeah.
So that we don't lose track. We don't lose track of the thought. He talks about Eric Schell proving a point that we have a team that can stand the test of. We said this same stuff about Peseiro, Jose Peseiro, when he took us even to a higher level, to the final of the competition. He was not retained.
Whose fault
he
is
was not
that?
retained. Yeah, of course. I'm coming. I'm just trying to look at the basic point. The point to make is that this is a football country that should have its own philosophy and vision of the game, and it should be integrated. It's not all about winning. That's why even the loss, doesn't really pain me as much. But what even it pains me is the fact that in this team, we cannot even find an aspiration for those thousands and millions of Nigerians who play this game, and they cannot aspire to make the national team from Nigeria because they are not abroad. That's a wrong philosophy. More than anything else.
I agree with that. I agree
Two
with
players
that.
in this
Momoni,
team.
let him
Two
finish.
players in this team
Momoni, let
wouldn't
him.
get to kick a ball. If we had two home-based players in this team, goalkeeper, we used to carry goalkeepers from Nigeria. Now we can't even have goalkeepers from Nigeria anymore.
Because they were just decoration, Abi.
And the Eric Shell you are talking about came in here with the same gusto, took over a Chan team, stayed with them for 1 month, because some people are arguing, oh, it's because he has stayed longer than Super Eagles, that's why they excelled. And that. He stayed 1 month with Chan, over 1 month, and took them to the same Chan we had reached the final. We came back from the group stage.
Okay, Platin.
He should go. I have not said that. I mean, it depends on those in the football executive committee. That is their decision. Ours is what they give us. We assess what they give us, and then see whether it's positive or it's progressive or it's even retrogressive. Even the ticket Eric Chell took to AFCON was born by a Nigerian coach. Got that ticket for the AFCON. I mean, we have had two crucial events to make a difference for Nigerian football. The World Cup ticket, we lost it on the same pattern. The AFCON ticket for the final, we lost it on the same pattern. First, you can say it's a mistake or accident. Second, will you say it's what is the same mistake? Is it design? Third time, what will you adduce it to? And the Westerhoff example you were taking us in 1992. Westerhoff had proved his mettle even in the first AFCON. He lost 5-0 to Algeria in the opening game, and when he came to the final, it was a massive struggle with all the crowd and the warlike scenes in Algeria. It was almost a difficult thing for Algeria to get that one goal against the Super Eagles, the Green Eagles, then they were known. Rabah Maja was the magic man. So Westerhoff proved himself from a loss in the opening game to the final of a competition where you only had 8 teams. I mean, it was stiffer then than even now that you have 24 teams. So my point is simple. If Eric Shell is going to be retained, there must be a rejig of our vision for the game. The mandate to the Sports Commission is to produce sports that will enable the economy find relevance and find value. Of all the 4 semi-finalists, the only coach of the 4 semi-finalists came from Nigeria, and he was not a Nigerian. What does that tell us? Other countries are beginning to aggregate their resources and their strength to make a mark. It's not all about winning. It's all about improving the dynamics of the game. We have a population that we can create our own World Cup, and the world will reckon with it. And it has to start. If you want to take it from the top, then we have to change the trajectory of how we get to that top. I am not sentimental about winning and good play. I am talking about the massive population we have who believe that football is more than a game, and that football can even transform Nigeria if we do it right. And it must start from somewhere. The vision must be clear. Now they say they have a diaspora committee. I wonder what that diaspora committee will be doing. When you have not even harnessed the talents you have locally, you have not even given them the direction or the guidance to find their full bearing. We want to start going to where countries which are develop our own to pick from there. That is not right. It's not development. It's not even growth.
Okay, Platinum. So, your views are very strong.
Let's come to even the game itself. Prepared. And I don't blame the Moroccans, because if you look at African football today, Morocco is the #1 country, ranked 11th in the world. They have the Under-20 World Cup in their possession, which means they have a surfeit a glut of potential talents who can fit in. They are the champions. And even in the women, they are contesting strongly with us. They were leading us 2-0. We came back with 3. So you have a country that is deep with talents who are rising, and they are using the best of Moroccans to make that difference. For me, that is the full meaning of our.
So we should start looking. We should start looking inwards at Nigeria to help develop our football. Maybe that's what you are saying at the end. And Eric is just, you know, what? How would I describe him? He's just there. And, well, the NFA should take their decisions. That's what you're saying. Anyway, if you have been listening and watching us.
If Eric has to stay, he has to contribute. Westerhoff contributed to the national game.
Okay.
So many players will tell you that they from the league, the likes of Amokachi and co. They came from the league. If Shell has to stay with us, he has to do the job of giving hope. Yes, that word, I don't like it. Giving hope to Nigerian players.
Okay, Platini, we hear you.
It's part of the business.
Platini.
If you get it right, the best players will go to the best club, get the best revenue, and bring that same revenue back.
Okay,
that's what the likes of Osimhen are doing. You can imagine what Osimhen does to his community or to his family. That money doesn't. It spreads. So we have to lay our treasures at home and build our own haven here.
I think I would like to chip in on that point that Michelle just made.
Okay, quick, because we want to go on a break. But quickly, yes.
Westerhoff, you know, I think that was one of the things that Westerhoff was actually seriously criticized over when he was coach, that he was selling Nigerian players abroad. I wasn't part of those who criticized him on that occasion because I felt, look, we needed the exposure to Europe for our players, and it reflected eventually on the national team. I mean, in 1990 that Michel referred to, we had so many home-based players in Westerhoff's team. You know, Moses Bako, Herbert Anijeku, and the rest of them. But by the time we got
name them, the team Elamo.
No, so many of them. But by the time we got to USN 94, the team was completely foreign-based, more or less. Okay, so now asking Michel to do that for Nigerian football, when we have now so many academies, so many private people taking players abroad, they are already doing all of that. So I think Eric Shell should just focus on the national team. And coming to the
how does the national team add to national football development? There must be an anchor.
Okay, Platini, just hold on, Platini.
Michelo, this job is the job of the NFA. It's not the job of the coach. To develop Nigerian football is not the job of the national team coach.
Yeah,
it's the job of the federation. It's the job of the league managers. Let's face it. So it is not the fault. Excuse me.
Platini, let him finish. Let Mumuni finish.
We have to
be Michelo.
Yes.
Michelo,
Platini, just hold on.
For instance, right now, as we speak now, the coach of the national team of Brazil is Carlo Ancelotti, an Italian. The coach of England is a German. Okay, they have not been asked to come and develop Brazilian football or English football. They have been invited to come and coach the national team. It's the English FA. They have to develop English football. It's the Brazilian FA. They have to develop Brazilian football.
You are talking of the national team that won the World Cup.
So listen.
Platini,
wait. We're talking about the Morocco that we're talking about.
Yes.
The national team coach does not coach any club side. His job is the national team. So
is he not Moroccan?
I agree. Listen, okay, now, listen, Michelo, this job that you are describing, the job description you want to give to Eric Shell, I think is the wrong place that you are putting it. Okay, what will the FA be doing? What will be the FA technical committee be doing? What will be the FA and the league managers, what would they be doing if the national coach has to be the one to take up this responsibility?
If you guys,
so anyway, let me add my voice.
Opinion.
Let me add.
If you guys are saying he should be retained, under what condition? That is my issue.
Okay. All right. Mumuni, that's fine. Platini, that's okay. Let's go on a short break. But my own small take is that the times are different. The 1990s and now, are totally different. We had, at that time, preponderance of the players from the domestic league. There were no players to even pick from outside. But now we have a flood. All the top players are gone. There's not one player in this country you can pick to play in that national team. I have gone around in the past couple of months, and I tell you what is happening is an accident waiting to happen for Nigerian football if we do not do something about what is happening locally. There's this echo. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with our conversation after the break. Down from the high there and just take it a little bit easier. So, Mumuni and Michelle, look, this is my story. The worst part of my football career in the national team started when I became captain of the national team. The moment, I'm saying this for the first time ever. The moment they made me captain of the national team, okay, exalted position and so on, then my football started to go down. The goals dried up, responsibility mounted, and my focus became something else. It was a distraction. I watched during this last match how we made Osimhen, who is not a great person on the ball. He's not a dribbler. He's not, he doesn't play with the team. He has his job cut out for him, and he focuses on it. He just goes there to deliver. He doesn't like to hold on to the ball at all. 1-2 passes, and he's gone, and he's looking for space. That's who he is. We now go and make an Osimhen captain, and he plays almost 110 minutes of a game, and he had only one decent touch on the ball, and he was captain. And when he was leaving, you could see that he was relieved. I thought that, in my own experience, that was the worst decision to have made that kind of a player captain of the national team. On the other hand, I saw a Calvin Bassey. For me, the best player in the Nigerian team, the most developed in the Nigerian team, the guy who kept us up till now, playing as well as we're doing. His marking, immaculate, his organization, first class, his passes. You can't find those passes anywhere in the world. The way that guy, takes those crosses, passes to his frontliners, I don't see any other defender in the world who does that at this point. That is our captain. So just your thoughts on it, because this is my own thought on that small matter. You see, the small things make the big difference. It's like what Mumuni said about the refereeing. He didn't penalize us in such a way that we would, any major decisions he took. But you see those small things he did, they are even worse than taking big decisions like penalty kicks, something. Those decisions, those small decisions, they do much more damage than the big decisions, because if he takes the big decision, it will come down on him. But if he takes those small decisions that are very decisive, people like us, like you now, we say, no, it doesn't create anything, it didn't do any damage. You underestimate it. But that man killed that game for the Nigerian team, as far as I'm concerned, with those small decisions. So this issue of making Osimhen captain and so on, it is something that's, what do you think? Mumuni, let's start with you.
Yes, all right, thank you, Big Sheikh. I think there seems to be a tradition in the Super Eagles and the national team that captainship is decided by seniority. I think that is what is happening here. For instance, since the era of Stephen Keshi, it was always between him and Peter Rufai, and then when he left Uche Okechukwu, and then when he left JJ Okocha, and then Kano, So I think because Wilfred Ndidi was suspended for the semi-final, just look around and who is the next in line in terms of seniority, and then they give the band to Osimhen. So maybe the coach needs to intervene more. I wouldn't say that I disagree with your assessment of Calvin Bassey's performance. Obviously, he was a Trojan in the Eagles' defense in this tournament. He's been a Trojan in this tournament. From the point of view that he's also a center back, center backs are always very good captains, because they have a better view of the pitch compared with the striker who is up front and is just looking at the goal. So from that point of view, I will agree with you that maybe we should be looking at somebody like Calvin Bassey. But I think, as I said, they might have settled for Osimhen in that semi-final in terms of seniority. Okay,
Platini, what do you think?
Yes, you got it right on the head. I thought as much that Osimhen had so much to worry about getting the goals that could make the difference than bundling him with the captaincy. But the truth of the matter is that Osimhen is happy with the captaincy. He's happy. And you need a happy spirit in the team to cultivate the what I call the gang culture, where if you are a thief and the other man is a thief, and the leader of the thieving gang gets the loot, everybody is happy. But then,
do you know why Pelé was never captain of Brazil? Pelé
was never.
That's what I'm saying.
Kocha, when Olise was captain, JJ, in terms of this seniority thing or tradition, JJ will have been. But then, if you have a coach who looks at his team with a different eye, you will know who to give the captaincy band. Calvin Bassey, you said, showed that he was more a captain in this competition than all the other players.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of his comportment, in terms of his play, in terms of, don't forget, when we played a draw with South Africa, who came to score the goal?
Calvin.
Yes.
Responsibility.
So if you want to look at tradition, we have a school of Nigerian captains who, when the game, as I say, when the game don't dawn, now captain, now any carry for head, go. Like your, you didn't.
But you are right.
You said your game deteriorated. I'm happy to hear your confession, because sometimes confession is the conclusion of a condition. You see.
No, but it's true. No, but it's true.
Done, like against Angola in Lagos, Keshi had to remove his boot, wear his boot, went into that field and say, what will happen should happen. That's the kind of captain Nigerians want to see.
Exactly. Yes. Not one who gives up See,
No,
Osimhen
who- 10 minutes
gave
of penalty
up
quick,
in
if
that
not the
game.
coach is saying
Mumuni,
that he has an
did you
ankle
notice?
problem, so he will not. If he has an ankle problem, why even play him for 120 minutes? If he cannot go and take a kick.
I said he
So,
was
you know,
relieved.
It's neither here nor there. But I think every coach picks his captain based on his understanding of his team. And if the team is happy with that, fine. And that's why I disagree with Wilfred. They coming to tell us that a coach should be retained. It's not the job of a player to tell us who should be retained or not. It's wrong. And for a captain doing that, it means he's in an alliance, which
Okay.
is wrong.
Okay, that's fantastic. Well, you see, we start, at the countdown now. Those poor incidences, I don't even want us to dwell on those. But you see, what do you think, Mumuni? You every time we go for these championships, there are those incidences, distractions. Sometimes they energize us, in a way, because Westerhoff would always conjure a crisis. And he confessed that to me, that he would conjure a crisis because the Nigerian thrives under crisis. So he doesn't want the peace of paying allowances. When everything is smooth, you have paid, then you lose.
Ikazebo used to tell me that, he said, Michel, I'm not feeling comfortable. The way we are going, everything is too neat, too clean, too heat-free. No, we need something. Shake up something.
Do we accept that as, part of our tradition? Once we know that we need those incidences to make us angry, to go there and fight, then we stop complaining? Or do we get rid of all these incidences that create problems, international image, our reputation drops, poor advertisement for Nigeria? It's small, unnecessary and avoidable incidences. Mumuni, your thoughts, just your thoughts on these things.
Well, coincidentally, it was when we had the bonus round before the Algerian game that we took them to the cleaners.
Exactly.
Two goals to nil.
Exactly.
So are you suggesting that maybe we should have had another bonus round?
Maybe. Maybe. No. With Westerhoff, it worked. It worked. I remember that in USA 94, I was the team manager. Westerhoff admitted to me he will create the problem. He would actually create it. Eve of a match.
Well, I think we have a lot of episodes in history where the Nigerian team has done, even much better when they are not comfortable, when there are issues to deal with. Atlanta 96 was another example.
Exactly. In your book. People should go and read your book. People should go and read your book.
Before we left Lagos, there were crises. Joe Bonfrey with the FA throughout in Atlanta. In fact, Joe Bonfrey and the FA and Nwobodo, who was minister, they were quarreling throughout, and that was how we got the gold medal. But I don't think it's the best. I don't think it's the best. It should be a tradition for us to always have a crisis or the other before we can get the best out of our team. I think it's something that we need to improve upon. It's not very good. It doesn't show that we are planned very well when before the game the players are complaining that they have not been paid their allowances. And then we have to start running around, going to the central bank and all of that. I think it's something that we need to clean up. It's something that we need to clean up. That's my
there is.
Hello, just a minute. We have a call. I promise that we'll take one or two calls, just one or two calls. Hello, good morning. Hello. Go on, Platini.
There is, of course, the negative crisis when you look at, the kind of image which doesn't help the nation. Talk about bonus and payments and all of that. But there is the positive crisis, like Victor Osimhen and Lookman on the pitch, and it became a debate. It became a debate. That's the kind of crisis I think Big Sheikh is talking of. Those kind of little moments which provoke different camps and provoke divisions and raise their.
Caller, hold on. Go on.
Yeah. And then of course you look at the Wambali. when everybody in the social media descended on Wabali, and of course, people now start balancing thoughts. So he lost his parents. Some people are saying he needs to go for psychological examination. All those kind of little so I call it positive crisis. They have a way of providing the right ginger for our boys, because if you know where they are coming from, for some, sometimes they need that energy from, have to evolve our own football culture. It shouldn't be universally accepted that, everything should be nice, clean, pop and clean. And, we have to find our own way to win.
Yeah.
And that is what matters, especially like one my Ghanaian friend was saying. He said, Nigeria is on in the shooter.
And they lost it. They lost it.
I mean, how do you explain that?
Hello, we have a caller. Let's just take one call. Let's take one call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Dishek.
Yes, good morning. Who is this and where are you calling from?
My name is Original Golden.
Ah, Mr. Golden. Original.
Yeah, okay, world champion.
Yes, go ahead. Make your contribution.
I call them the prof. They're the professors. I know them.
The professors of Nigerian football.
Of Nigerian football, yes.
Of course, now. They are both professors. They are both professors.
They are the masters of the game.
They are the masters. Okay.
Yes.
So go on.
Bishek, my name is Original Golden. See, I was so happy when I heard your voice this morning.
Okay.
I was thinking maybe you have gone to Morocco.
I'm in Morocco of Wasimi.
And really, I felt so bad. I said, look at this jingle that for over this it was in Wasimi for over when this tournament started, and Nigeria were winning. Now that he told that they're going to Morocco for the semi-final, and Nigeria lost, how would it feel? I was very, very bitter within myself.
Wow. Well, I never went.
In Wasimi, thank you. So, Bishop, what I want to say about the contribution this one is that I remember the Gialiu, one of the Nigerian famous sprinters.
Yes.
He said most of his kids, they take after him, they are running, they are sprinters. Like each event they went, they contest. Each event they went, they contest. But he said the father that's coaching them, they were praying that they will lose. So when they lose, they will know where their mistake is, so they correct themselves. But now they're coming first in each sprint. They will not know that they're making some mistakes. So he prayed for them to lose so that he will correct them. They will know that they can lose. So that's what
I like that.
Another thing I want to say is that concerning the issue of home base and the foreign base, I heard what the interview granted by the coach of South Africa. He said the reason why they are not doing well is because most of their talent, most of their football players are based in South Africa. None of them were international exposed, like going to England or Europe, all these things. None of them. They're only based in South Africa. That's why they do. And now they're supposed to export most of their players to Europe, not only South Africa again, to Europe, so they will master the game.
Okay.
So, hence a coach like this will say like something like that. We Nigerians were talking that we should use to concentrate on one thing. So today I cannot be misnomer. That's why I'm looking at it.
Very good
so
contribution.
International exposure is more important than going to looking inward. That's what I want to put out. Thank you, sir.
Very good, Mr. Goldie. Very good. South Africa changed their style. They decided to make their home-based players, the core of their team. In fact, most of them are based at home, concentrating on developing at home, and they didn't make it. We that we are doing our own abroad.
They have a thriving league. Once you have a thriving league,
that is it. That is it, Michelo.
They have a thriving league.
That is it. We need to fix our league.
They have a thriving league. When you have a thriving league, you look inwards. That
is the point we are making, Michelo. And I agree with you. Listen, let me say this, Michelo. Let me say this, okay? My thesis, everybody has been calling me doctor. My thesis for my PhD was on the Nigerian Football League.
Beautiful.
All right?
Wow.
And every sentiment that you have expressed in this program today is contained in my thesis.
Wow.
Okay? That look, we need to fix our domestic football.
Full stop.
We need to. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But whereas the domestic league is connected to the national team. Where we have reached now, we have to separate them. Okay? If the only thing that we think can drive the domestic league is players getting to play in the national team, then we are missing the points.
Yeah, I agree.
We are missing the points. We need to go back completely to the grassroots to develop the league. Look, the competition will always be there from the foreign-based players because they are exposed to the best leagues, the best coaching, the best facilities. They will always have an edge over our home-based players. So that is where we need to go and solve the problem for the players to be competitive. The home-based players, for them to be right now, they are not competitive.
I agree.
Beautiful.
They are not competitive. So
Beautiful,
I think so. Michelo, this job is for all of us. Let me summarize. This job is for all of us. Number one, the fans needs to pay more attention to the domestic league. The media, we need to write more about Shooting Stars, Kano Pillars, rather than Manchester United and Chelsea. The management of the league, they also need to be wearing the league cap rather than wearing caps of Arsenal or Manchester United, and so on and so forth. There was a day I saw an official of the Sports Commission on TV wearing a face cap of a club in America. And I had to send him a private text that you shouldn't be wearing a face cap of a club in America because you are a face of Nigerian sports. If you can't find a face cap of a Nigerian club, don't wear any cap at all. These are little things to reflect that, look, we need to push our own products. So I understand, Michelle, where you are coming from. But we cannot sacrifice the national team on the basis of that, because the domestic league is dying. Then we close the door to our foreign-based players who can
No.
So that's why I said there are two different things. They are two different things.
You are on the same page.
They are not two different things.
They are connected.
They are connected. They are connected.
There's a nuance.
They are different, but they are connected. They are different.
Let me say something which will help. Our contribution.
You have the floor.
The national team of a country is the crystallization of the football of that country, meaning it encompasses all the elements that make that country's football worthwhile. Yeah. And that is why if the national team goes and performs, what they say is that Nigerian game has won, you has, and Nigerian game is gaining in points. The FIFA ranking of our game is based on the national team. So it is an embodiment of all that is ours. And in that direction, if you want to develop even the league, there must be what I say an aspirational trust. Imagine yourself, you went to university and then you had a bachelor's degree and you say, okay, I can't even go for a PhD because I don't have the opportunity to go for a PhD. Is that
I don't understand that though, but yeah. Anyway, we have to Egypt. As far as I'm concerned, that is is not important at all.
Not important.
It's not important at all because even the mandate we gave to our coach is for him to get to the final. The chairman said to get to the final.
When the NFF chairman on your program,
so that's the mandate. So that we are in the semi-final. It's important that we go and play, and whether we get bronze or silver. But look, I don't know how to put it, but let's take lessons away from 2025. So Mumuni, let me start with Michelle. Michelle, what lessons can we just take away from our experiences in this AFCON 2025 generally? What lessons can we draw from those experiences?
We should go beyond being a tournament team. We should show not only the diligence we've shown in this competition, our tournaments, but also when it comes to the playoff. We have to take our qualifiers very seriously as we do with the tournaments. Our players have to understand that. Our coaches need to understand that. That is very key if we want to really keep making our mark. Of course, the need for us to improve our infrastructure cannot be overemphasized. And that is the responsibility of the Nigerian Football Federation. It's not the responsibility of the league managers. That core responsibility falls on Nigerian Football Federation, because they are the ones who decide what pitch is right for the game or not. Just like officiating, we also have to take a lesson from officiating. We need to improve the quality of officiating in Nigeria, so that we don't get to start blaming Ghanaians because we think we can blame them because we watch other leagues. We have to also improve our own at home, so that way the game will also find bearing. Can you imagine a good pitch, a good referee, and then players who want to be good? That is the mix of a spectacle, and that's what we need. And then, of course, when it comes to the AFCON, we should aspire to make the AFCON our oyster. If we are
our birthright, winning it should be our birthright.
I don't want to use the word birthright.
Okay, Mumuni.
Any coach coming to Nigeria now and you can't win the AFCON, then you have not started, because it's not a home base or a foreign base issue. It's a matter of this is what we can do. And that's what the Moroccans want to do. The moment they seize this AFCON, be sure that they want to defend it with everything. But we need to hold our own when it comes to the AFCON. Other lessons, of course, is the preparation for tournaments. It's just almost 1 month now to the WAFCON. The girls, the coach has been fully confirmed now, is that is the permanent coach of the Falcons. Those are the little things. We need to be cautious, timelines of preparations. And then, of course, the lessons for our NFF. They have to meet and see how they can make inputs to the local game.
Okay.
The Super Eagles does not define the dispensation of our football.
Well, Mumuni, let me give you some bad news. Really bad news. I visited Uyo for the first time in 19 years, about a few weeks ago. I went to Uyo, and I went to that, what's the name of that stadium?
The Godswill Akpabio Stadium.
Yes. It has a beautiful name. Beautiful stadium, just a football stadium on its own. It is isolated, nothing around it, to socialize, to economize, to nothing. It's just a beautiful stadium out there. But the bad news is that it is the only stadium that has a pitch that we can play FIFA matches in, grade A FIFA matches. I went to see the pitch. I went to examine it, and I saw it. It's managed by Julius Baja. 1.4 billion naira every year to manage that football stadium. And I tell you, I know a good football ground when I see one, because I played on one. I spent so many years playing on some of the best pitches around. And you see that pitch, that is the only one in Nigeria. It is 10 times worse than the stadium we had in Calabar before. You see the Calabar pitch that we had in Calabar, just next door to Uyo.
UJ Suene Stadium.
UJ Suene Stadium in Calabar. 10 times better than what we have in Uyo Stadium. If you gave me the technical responsibility in FIFA to go and look at that, I will not use it. I will not use that stadium for a match. It looks good and so on. But when you compare to what I saw in Morocco or what we saw in Ivory Coast, it does not even qualify.
Your campaign for good pitches.
Yes.
One thing you must understand is that just like the game, pitches have evolved.
Yes.
What you see in Morocco is a hybrid natural pitch.
I agree.
It has elements of grass, elements of
absolutely
fiber, natural fiber.
Absolutely.
Then the what do you call it? The drainage.
Look, that's where what I'm saying is
on the pitch.
No, what I'm saying is that's where to go. We cannot do shortcuts. We cannot economize. We cannot say we are doing artificial turfs. We cannot.
The National Sports Commission. That's what to do.
Exactly.
They've scattered. That's what to do in National Stadium Abuja. That's what to do Even in Lagos, a whole Lagos has
Yes.
no stadium of pride. The city center of excellence. Not one stadium of pride.
We must invest. We must invest in the millions of the dollars to fix the grounds. Mumuni, your takeaway from today's show, please. Your takeaway from AFCON 2025, generally. I just wanted to give you that bad news before we round up.
Well, I'm very familiar with the bad news because I know that Big Sheg, you have been writing about this for
donkey years.
For donkey years. I mean, I've been reading your column, and I mean, as a footballer yourself, this is something you've always complained about. I remember too when Stephen Keshi was alive, he was always complaining that, look, how can Nigeria claim to be a football nation and we don't have a single football good pitch in Nigeria? It's scandalous. It's scandalous. So if
people take the money meant for pitches, that is the story that needs to be told. That money voted by even a corporate world to support pitches are taken by individuals who tell us that they are bringing grass from Qatar and Bahamas, and yet the pitch is just deep sand. Some of those people should not even get to talk to us in this country.
Mumuni, round up for us.
It's very sad. It's very sad. But my final takeaway from the tournament in Morocco is how the government has set a target for its country, and they are pursuing it, and they are achieving results. I think Nigeria, we also need to make up our mind whether we really want to use sports as a tool to develop our country. That is the only time that we are going to be able to put the kind of resources that we need to put behind sports, not just football alone, sports. Because we have a population, 250 million people, 70% of them being youths. Definitely sports should be something that our government should be putting more attention in terms of investment, infrastructure-wise.
Who will win tomorrow? Okay, let's start with today. Who will win today? Nigeria, Egypt? Mumuni?
I will support my country now, anytime, any day. I go for the Super Eagles.
And tomorrow?
Tomorrow, tough one. Very, very, very tough one. Very, very tough one. Very, very tough one. I will go for Morocco.
Okay, Platini, the Michelo Platini. One day you will tell us why we call you Platini. Nigeria, Egypt.
When the Moroccans have crossed the Red Sea, they are red. They crossed the Red Sea.
This is your red cap. This is your red
on that trophy. Senegal is my adopted home because of my
your Francais
attachment to the negritude philosophy. A tiger does not need to show his tigritude. But I wonder whether the Senegalese will come out with the lioness, the lion that is in them. They need it. 2 lions on the roar, and when lions are caged, I don't know what happens. Big Sheg, but one thing is sure. I can see another penalty. You said it now.
No, I don't understand though. No, you must express it. What do you mean?
It's a redundant game for good for the fans, to comfort what the French call soulagement, provide comfort for those who have been bruised.
So when we come back with the bronze, what would our government give to the players?
It will add to. Is it the 10th bronze? If we win that, it will be 10. How many bronze we've won? 9.
That would be 9. That would be the 9. We have won 8.
So La Decima of bronze.
No, we have won 8. So we have won 8. They will be the 9.
We have won 8. Okay, 9 is the number of delivery. So it's a good number.
Wow.
The good thing is, I don't know how fit Osimhen is. I think he can get into this match and equal Yekini's record if he can get the goals.
Okay. On that note, I just want to say thank you so very much. They are the 2 grandmasters of Nigerian sports journalism, the 2 doctors, my 2 ogas in the business. I want to thank you for honoring me with your presence this morning. This is Eagle 7 Sports Radio, 90 minutes with mathematical, and we've had Dr. Mumuni Alao and Dr. Michel Obi from Lagos, Mumuni Alao from Rabat in Morocco. Join us again next week, Saturday, when we bring you another wonderful package. But for today, my verdict, Nigeria will trounce, trash? We will trash Egypt. 3-0. 3-0. Nigeria trashing Egypt by 3 goals. If we don't do that, they shouldn't come back to Nigeria.
without Salah.
All right, then. Until next week. Bye from us here. Bye-bye.